awesome morning, everyone. Welcome to the second installment of Ortigas Lands webinar series. Today's webinar is entitled Opportunities Matter, Know the Property Must-Haves for Investors. I am Paulina Aguilar, and I will be your host for this morning. In today's webinar, we at Ortigas Land want to guide and inform you on the fundamentals that you should be looking for when buying properties. And we believe that our speaker for today will help you on this matter. Okay, so for our first speaker, he has more than 30 years of diversified work experience in manufacturing plants, international five-star hotel chains, commercial centers, and real estate developments. He obtained his degree of Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering at the Mapua Institute of Technology and had extensive training on risk engineering in Zurich, Switzerland, and completed his safety training in Thailand. He also led the spin-off of IPI Transvoyager Inc. or Swift Air and intensified its engineering systems, improved the safety programs, and obtained certification for ISO 9001. Prior to joining Ortigas, Mr. June was the President and Chief Operating Officer of Century Properties Management Inc., a property management company with more than 80 managed properties, including office, warehouse, and estate management. He also worked as Technical Group Director of Ayala Property Management Corporation, or APMC, and Chief Operating Officer of Philippine Integrated Energy Solutions, Inc., and Corporate Technical Planning Head of Ayala Malls, Inc. Please welcome the AVP and Head of Estates and Property Management Group of Ortigas Land, Mr. June Vasquez.
Awesome morning, everyone.
Okay, so awesome morning, Sir June. So thank you for your time. And I'd like to begin by saying that in the real estate industry, different companies offer different types of developments. So for Ortigas Land, what sets us apart are our mixed-use development. In your opinion, sir, what is a mixed-use development?
Thank you, Paulina. Mixed-use developments are characterized as a pedestrian-friendly development that blends two or more residential, commercial, cultural, institutional, and industrial uses. A planning strategy that seeks to foster community design and development that serves the economy, community public health, and also the environment.
Okay, sir. So given that you've shared with us, Mr. June, what a mixed-use development is, what are the benefits and importance of living in a mixed-use development or living near a central business district, especially during these trying times?
Living in a mixed-use development offers comfort, convenience, and accessibility. Especially now that we're experiencing a global pandemic, like we just had an ECQ and then MECQ. When we were under the ECQ, the Enhanced Community Quarantine, mobility was constrained when the public transport was suspended, making everything that was once easy to do inconvenience, like going out to buy your groceries and necessities. These limitations are part of the new normal that we are facing now. Therefore, having a location integrating residential, commercial, and office spaces would ensure the safety of the people in these trying times. Access to offices, food facilities, retail, leisure establishments, schools, and hospitals near their homes offer great convenience, of course. One wouldn't have to worry about the worsening traffic situation or the inefficient public transportation that we are having, because living in these properties give you comfort that most subdivisions and high-rise condominiums don't have. Mixed-use developments are already equipped with everything that you want and need at the palm of your hand without having to compromise your safety, security, and also your time. In addition, of course, mixed-use developments also foster a sense of community and interconnectivity as they are revitalized and transformed into spaces for socialization. One great example of a mixed-use development would be Ortigas East that we are developing. Ortigas East is an eco-estate guided by the company's guiding principle of building happy, healthy places. That is Ortigas Land's take on the future of sustainable and eco-friendly estate in a neighborhood setting. The estate has 40% of its area dedicated to green open space and is made accessible with three major access points. No, we have Ortigas Avenue, C5, and Julio Vargas. And through a multimodal transportation terminal located inside the development, Ortigas East will landscape with green spaces and connecting walkways for the convenience and wellness of its residents, office employees, and patrons.
Okay, sir. So I agree with you, Sir June. It's really the location, the convenience, and the accessibility,
Yes.
not to mention the open space. Aside from these benefits, what do you think, sir? Why is Ortigas Land focusing on developing more mixed-use properties?
Ortigas Land's mission is to build great places for life. As one of the leading condominium developers in the Philippines, convenience has always been our priority, ensuring that the members of our communities are near everything they want and need, not only to survive, but thrive. Sustainability is a must. Our communities leave room for growth for this generation and, of course, generations to come while being connected with the environment. Maple at Verdun Towers, the first residential tower in Ortigas East, is strategically located in the corner of the estate along Ortigas Avenue. The property is near to Ortigas CBD, one of the Philippines' top business districts. It is also near academic and medical institutions such as Medical City, Ateneo de Manila University, University of the Philippines, St. Paul College Pasig. Public transport is also close at hand, offering easy access to world of possibilities beyond the estate.
Okay, so aside from the convenience within the mixed-use development, I think it's true what you mentioned, sir, that it is equally important for a community or a mixed-use development to be near vital centers such as medical institutions and schools. So, as the AVP and Head of Estates and Property Management Group of Ortigas Land, sir, how do you define property management?
Well, property management refers to the process controlling, overseeing, and operating of residential, not only residential, but also commercial and industrial real estate. It involves managing of property that is owned by another company or entity.
So given that you've mentioned, sir, what property management is, for my last question, Mr. June, how are the properties of Ortigas Land maintained, especially during these trying times?
Ortigas Land made efforts and guidelines to ensure the safety of the people while inside their properties. With this new normal, upon entering, one must always wear their face mask, answer the health declaration forms, submit the temperature checks, and step on the foot sanitation mats. We also place signages in areas such as elevators and comfort rooms to indicate the maximum number of people allowed inside.
Okay, so sir, yeah, I think the property management now of Ortigas Land has been following the guidelines that the government has given us, right? So wearing of masks, health declarations, and such. So with that, sir, thank you so much for that insightful conversation, Mr. June. So
Thank you, Paulina.
thank you for your time today. And I'd like to introduce now our next speaker. So he started as a delivery boy when he was 12 years old. Growing up, he saw his parents struggle through ups and downs and selling encyclopedias. And he vowed to do the best that he can to improve the life of his family. He started his career working with property giant Ayala Land 18 years ago and immediately got promoted to be the youngest director of sales for Ayala Land Premier. He is a real estate management graduate of Harvard Business School and is the president of Spectrum Investments, a property portfolio management company. He is an author of 2 books on property and goes around the globe inspiring and teaching Filipinos how to manage their finances and invest in property. He has also been featured in Inquirer, Entrepreneur, CNN, Yahoo, Asian Dragon, Money Sense, and other publications. Let us all welcome property guru, Mr. Carl D.
Good morning. Awesome morning, everybody. Thank you very much, Paulina, for the wonderful introduction. How are you guys?
We're good, sir. So, thank you so much for giving us time this Saturday morning to share with you your expertise in real estate, in the real estate industry. So, sir, for my first question, looking at this from an economic and investment angle, is it good and safe to invest in the real estate, specifically in mixed-use development? And what are the benefits and risks of investing in a mixed-use development?
Thank you very much, Paulina. Let me share with you as a property investor. No? So as a property investor, we like to be in areas where there are many developments happening. So just to share with you, one of my favorites is Ortigas East. No, I see a lot of potential in that area. It's along C5 corridor and it's near EDSA, and there's so many anchor establishments. So for the property investors out there, I just want to highlight what are the advantages. It's like saying I want to buy a car. What are the features? For women naman, I'm gonna buy this cooking equipment. What can it do? So by investing in a mixed-use development, number one, you get convenience. And I'm sure people who are in business districts right now, like Makati, BGC, or Ortigas Center, you can all relate that everything is so convenient. Even you don't need a car to go to the grocery. You don't even need a car to bring your kids to school. Everything is a walking distance away. So that convenience is very important as an end user and as a property investor. Number two, I value safety. If you're in a mixed-use development, you're kind of assured that there's an estate police, estate security managing your area for you. So all you have to do is just stay in your property and everything is taken care of for you. So safety for me is very important as a property investor. If you're living in the development, it's important for your family. If you're the investor, it's important for your tenant. So these are the things that will make your property more desirable for tenants and increase your rental income. Number four will be Number 3 and 4 is maintenance and upkeep. No, so this includes the roads, the sidewalks, the trimming of the trees, making the whole place visually more attractive. And if it's visually more attractive, capital appreciation tends to go faster, and desirability from tenants is also higher. So I value the maintenance and upkeep that is provided in a mixed-use development. And number 5, of course, Paulina, at the end of the day, it's all about your lifestyle. It's all about the balance between work, education, physical health, indoor and outdoor activities, and of course, a very good night's sleep because of the safety and security. So, just to compare, if you're in an outside development that's not mixed use, there might not be security, there might be a grounds maintenance and upkeep. And I just want to emphasize that as an investor, all of these are being done for you automatically. You don't have to hire any gardener. You don't have to hire security of your own. Everything is done for you by the estate. And number 6, of course, very important for property investors, that it is a center of attraction. Diba? When you go to, in Christmas, there are certain places where we go to. So when people flock to these areas because of their nice lights, nice attraction, it drives commerce. When it drives commerce, business is good. Restaurants, retail, mall, entertainment, they're all doing well. It also helps you drive your capital appreciation on your property. And last 2, Paulina, again, physical and mental wellness. For me, that's very important. You want to be in a place where you feel secure at night, sleep well, because sleep is very important, and then you can go outdoor, exercise in the morning, get some vitamin D, vitamin sun, and you have amenities like a gym, swimming pool, all part of your property. You don't have to build it, you don't have to maintain it, you don't have to hire people to take care of it. It's all free. The feature is all free. So that's why when people come to me and say, Carl, sometimes a mixed-use development is more expensive. And I tell them, it's okay because you get so much more feature for your property. And if you are renting out to an expat, they will more likely be desiring to be in a mixed-use development. So they have that work-life balance. And of course, as I've mentioned, at the end of the day, properties in mixed-use development have better capital appreciation, they have better rental returns, and you can sleep better at night knowing that without doing anything, everything is done for you by the developer, like Ortigas.
Yes, that's true, sir. So I really agree with you that safety is irreplaceable. The convenience of everything being at reach, your office, the malls, the retails, it's really, that feeling is really irreplaceable for an investor, right? And for my second question, for most people, they don't know what to consider when buying a property. So with your experience here in the real estate industry and as the president of Spectrum Investments, what are the important things or the fundamentals one need to look when they're buying a property?
All right, Paulina, very good question, and I want to answer it for two types of people out there. We're targeting two types of market. Now, one is the end user market, and the second one is the investor market. So here's my guide. If you're an end user, you're looking to buy a property for yourself, you're looking to buy a property for your kids, for your children, you're planning to sell your big house and lot and downsize to a condo. So these are the things to consider. Definitely for me, I'm a fan of safety because you want to sleep well at night. You want to not worry about the most important thing in your life, which is your family and your relationships. No? And then number two, convenience to what is priority in your life. So I just want to emphasize. So if you're an end user, you find the place wherein, for example, I go to CCF, so I'm a fan of Ortigas East. Being close to church, my resting, my place of rest is very important to me. And for me as a dad, I also like sports, so having Decathlon is also a big advantage for me. I like going to the malls, the grocery. So these are all conveniences for you as a family person. No? Other people naman, it will be convenience to their place of work. So I see a lot of potential in Ortigas East because of the new buildings coming into play. This will be your future place of work, or if you want to build your headquarters. And I see a lot of people from nearby places selling their houses for 100 plus million and downsizing to a condo because of the advantage that a condo brings, which is number one, access to your gym, your swimming pool, healthcare, medical facilities. So a lot of people are considering, hey, maybe let me sell my house and just retire and live on a 45th floor condo and not worry about anything. So infrastructure is also important, Paulina and everybody else, because when I say infrastructure, it's not just roads and bridges. Roads and bridges is one, and you'll see C5 as a major road, Ortigas Avenue as a major road. And then, of course, the new bridge that's coming about in Pasig, which will connect it to BGC. This tiny piece of bridge will change a lot because what used to be many volume of vehicles going to C5, going to EDSA, just to cross the Pasig River, can now do it through Capitolio. So they don't have to go to EDSA, they don't have to go to C5 anymore, decongesting EDSA and C5, having Capitolio as an alternate. So I think that is a big game changer. And I tell most of my clients that if you're going to buy property, you better buy it before the bridge is finished. So infrastructure is many things. Infrastructure is access to roads and bridges and access to your workplace. If you are working in BGC, in Makati, in Quezon City, Ortigas is the center of these two business districts. I've seen many clients now moving to Ortigas because their place of work is between the south and the north. So Ortigas is a very good center. And this is applicable to property investors because if you want to rent out your property to expats, I think there's a chunk of them who would stay in Ortigas because it's midway between the south and the north. Of course, access to education, the infrastructure on education is important. And in Ortigas, there's so many good schools around it. Access to food and supplies, it's important. Magnified, especially now because of the COVID situation. So you want to be in a place, diba? You don't want to be in a, just to exaggerate, you don't want to be in a too far a place na wala naman access to food and supplies. And of course, access to your relationships, which is very important. You want to be in a center wherein you're nearby people who are important to you, to your kids, to your parents, to your good friends and colleagues. And definitely, very important for me, access to healthcare. These are all infrastructures. So Medical City is a very good anchor, one of the more modern hospitals, and I value that. And of course, the infrastructure on telecoms, meaning you have fast internet, you have good signal. These are all very important as an end user. So if I may add one more, what is important to consider if you are an investor? You're buying for capital appreciation, you're buying for rental income. So aside from what I mentioned as an end user, because that will be valuable for your tenant, I want to add that you want to be in a place wherein it is appreciated by many. This is where the capital appreciation keyword came about. Capital appreciation meaning it's appreciated by many. That's why the price goes up. Ayan. So I want to encourage property investors to choose areas wherein it is appreciated by many because of the features, because of the infrastructure. And I like to be in areas where it is expat friendly. And I think Ortigas is one of those where it is expat friendly. And anchor establishments are very, very important as an investor. You want to make sure that you have access, your tenants have access to schools. Having an embassy nearby is a great advantage from a tenant point of view. A mega church is also a very, very good anchor. It helps drive people to your property. And definitely office buildings, corporate headquarters, they are all very important anchors to drive renters to the development. And of course, the usual retail, food, entertainment, these help in making your tenant feel more convenient. Because if you're an expat, you're from another country, you don't want to drive around. You want everything within reach of your comfort zone for safety na rin. So there you go, Paulina. Those are the things I would share to consider.
Okay, so thank you for sharing with us the things that to consider in buying properties. No, so I think what I got from what you mentioned is for both end users and investors, it's really the location and what's in that mixed-use development. So I think the pandemic really magnified that need of everything being accessible. Yeah, right. So with the restaurants and then with the malls, also with the medical institutions. And I think with what you mentioned with for the investors, it's really the capital appreciation. And it's the first time that I heard that for capital appreciation, it's a development that is appreciated by many.
Yes.
Everybody wants to invest in that area because it's liked by many. It's accessible through the infrastructure. So yes, I agree with all your points that you mentioned in these slides, Erno. So with this, are there any do's and don'ts in buying properties?
Yeah, Paulina, that's a very good question. There's many do's and don'ts on property. But siguro I'll summarize my top 3, top 4. Number 1, I see a lot of investors that they just look at the price. So I would encourage property investor, don't look at the price alone. Look at what it comes with it. What are the features? If let's say the price is 10% more expensive, 20%, but the features are 70% more features, diba? So you look for value because we are not in the business of saving money. We are in the business of making money. So the better your property is, the more infrastructure and anchor, the more it will be appreciated by your future buyer, the more that the price will go up, and the more that there will be many tenants wanting to be in that place. So look for value, very important. Number 2, I like to work with developers who have similar values as me. I want to work with developers who are not too profit-oriented. Maybe, yes, profit-oriented from a sustainability point of view, but I want to work with developers who thinks about their customers, who value the human relationships in a development. So I think Ortigas is one of them, being in the industry for so many, many decades. How many years na kayo, Paulina?
Our 89, sir, for this
89
year.
years. Very good reputation, very good values. So I value the value of the executives, of the owners, of the shareholders. Don't be enticed by short-term gains. Syempre, other developers, they might be able to give you this big discounts and all, but look at the value. I like to go for areas with potential. Diba? You know, as a property investor, Paulina, I want to share that the best property investors, they look at future. Ika nga nila, you should take away your present day eyeglasses and wear future eyeglasses. That's the mark of a good property investor, because property is all about buying when it's about to start and then cashing it out when it's at its peak. So I like areas that are undergoing developments. And I think Ortigas East is one of those na parating pa lang. The developments are about to come. It's not yet there. So ang laki ng upside. I'm very excited for that. Personally, as an investor, I like to acquire properties when it's about to be developed pa lang, when there's land dev pa lang. The best time to buy is when the roads are so traffic. Diba? When the roads are black and there's mega traffic, kasi you know something's happening. And after 2-3 years, when the roads are open, it's usually wider and more pleasant visually. No? A few more advice, Paulina. Do go for areas with growth potential. Yun. And if you're an investor, always think about your tenant. Always think about, will this place attract tenant? Will having a school attract tenant? Will having 6, 7, 8 office building attract tenant? And that's how you plan your strategy. Always about the future. And of course, leverage. I've heard of many developers giving very, very good schemes right now because of the COVID situation. And I tell you, as a property investor, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been waiting for. You know, a few years ago, the market was very hot and you would have to wait in line to buy choice properties. You have to submit LOI. You have to fall in line. Now, if you are one of the few, you know, not everybody is blessed enough. If you're one of the few that are financially prepared for this, then there are many opportunities out there for you. And this is one of those moments when you just look back and say, wow, just like how Henry C. built SM North EDSA during 1985 when it was the EDSA revolution, and how Henry C. built Mega Mall after the 1997 Asian crisis. You know, regular folks would see things from a half full point of view. What are the negatives, diba? But you know, the tycoons, they would see it as, what are the opportunities available during this time? And I tell you guys, there's so many opportunities right now. What used to be maybe 100,000 a month, now you can acquire for half the price, 50,000 a month. You can ask your Ortigas East salesperson about that. And of course, lastly, I see a lot of people think very short term on property. Property is built for long term. You know, I just came from a meeting with a friend who sold their property for 150 million, which they bought in the 1970s for 1 million. So 1 million to 150 million, nothing. I don't know of any product that can go 150,000 times without doing anything. There you go, Paulina.
Okay, so I think, yeah, I really got a lot from what you've mentioned, like the do's and don'ts in property, sir, no? I think it's really the potential of the development. That's what you're looking for. Invest while it's being developed, because you will see the wonders after all the development has been complete, right?
Thank you, Paulina. I appreciate that you're taking down notes.
Yes, I really appreciate it, and I've learned a lot from what you've mentioned, sir. And going to my third question, what is your advice to those who are still contemplating on whether to invest in real estate or in a mixed-use development?
I have this final closing statement, Paulina, to everybody here. History has always been there. There's so many wealthy people that are into real estate. Almost everybody, every wealthy person, family, they're into real estate. And if you look back at history, there's so many stories about one individual. Just recently, I've heard of a story of one 60-plus-year-old senior who bought a property way back and now sold it, and now he's a millionaire because of that property. And he told me, Carl, I never thought I was struggling in my whole life. I never got lucky with work. I wasn't able to save a lot. But who would have thought that in my senior years, when I sell my one piece of property, I will be a millionaire? Guys, there's so many out there, technology, business, but history always show that people who are invested in property over the long term, they always have good returns. So I would encourage everybody to at least have a part of their portfolio in property.
Yes. So, I mean, for me personally, as a first-time investor in real estate, I really think of it as probably my savings, which I can return its REIT after years. Because, di ba, sir, kasi...
I want to add what you just mentioned. I want you to compare your property like a goose that lays you the golden egg, di ba? Rental cash flow. You keep your goose for 20, 30 years, and every month it gives you that golden egg, and that's what you live on, di ba?
Yes, and you're looking forward to something in the future with that piece of real estate. It may not be a lot. You may not have the capacity to invest a lot in real estate, but I agree with you, sir, just have at least one in your portfolio. And that's, you're good.
I guess in closing, Paulina, I want to add lang that there are 3 stages of life, diba? One is the man at work. So most of the young people out there, you're a man at work. But while you're a man at work, you start to invest your excess money in things that gives you money back, which are assets. Diba? Asset is something that gives you money back. Liability is something that takes away money from your pocket. So you want to develop asset properties, the asset products. So man at work, and then when you're at your maybe 40s to 50s, it's now money and man at work. So you're working, you have your active income, and on the side, your property is now giving you rentals, which you will buy more rentals. But ultimately, when you're at your senior moment, senior age, you will have your money working hard for you. Ayan.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sir Carl, for that informative talk, and we've definitely learned a lot from it. So with that, we will take a short break first before we proceed with the Q&A portion.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you so much. Welcome back, everyone, to our panelists. And any one of you, Sir June and Sir Carl, can answer. For specifically, this question is for Sir June Vasquez. What are the must-haves in investing in property?
Well, number one, Paulina, it's basically you have to know the type of property that you would like to buy. And then the most important thing, as far as the property is concerned, is the way the property is being managed. There are a lot of condominiums or even horizontal properties that is being managed, well, sorry to say, poorly. But the thing is, the most important thing there really is the property management team. They have to know what they're doing, implementing the best practices internationally. The clients right now are so demanding because of the social media. They get exposed to other things that other countries are doing. The standard is quite high right now. We have also expats that are renting or leasing our properties or other properties outside of Ortigas. So the key really is the must-have must basically, like for example, Ortigas is introducing the community applications. This application basically will cater all the requests of the the clients, the unit owners, from emailing or processing their statement of accounts to as little as doing the or accepting the request of its unit owners. That is very important. And then also we are also doing the or we have installed already the smart building devices, sensors. Those are must-haves now. On top of that, because of the new normal, we are also trying to incorporate how to disinfect the buildings or the common areas. And lastly, of course, the amenities. You want it to be relaxed and you want it to feel like you're really at home when you buy a property. And safety, of course.
Okay, so I think, sir, with what you mentioned, what I got from there is right now Ortigas land is new normal ready with the community applications that we have right now and also the smart building devices that we've installed and also with how we disinfect our properties. So I think with Ortigas land or with having the must-haves for investment is really how the property management takes care of the community. Okay, so thank you, Sir June. For my next question for Sir Carl, what do you think the market will look for after the pandemic?
Definitely, there are many things that we took for granted before that is now evolved, no? People are now, siguro in the trends of property, we're seeing some trends happening right now, which is the multi-generation units. So this is like a 3-bedroom, but there's the first bedroom is a studio that is freestanding. So can be a multi-generation for your lola is on one unit independently living, and then you have the 2-bedroom for the younger family with kids. No, we're seeing that trend. We're also seeing the trend of home office. That's important, and definitely a fast internet building, a smart building will be very beneficial. And we're now seeing health as something important. And yeah, I guess those are the things that have evolved because of the COVID situation.
Okay, so I guess, sir, what the market will look for really is these accessibilities through fast internet connection, health and school institutions. So there were really a lot of things that were magnified during the pandemic,
Yes.
and it's really that one.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so for the next question, thank you, Sir Carl. For the next question, what are the tips or strategies can you give on how to effectively manage properties? Sir June, if you could help us answer this question.
Well, number one is you have to have people which is knowledgeable in managing a development. I think for at least more than 10 years with the housing development that the Philippines had, uh, there was actually a vacuum in terms of good people managing the properties. That's number one. Why? Because they are the ones who talks to the clients, who talks to the unit owners. And if you don't have knowledgeable people, well, definitely you will get a lot of complaints from the unit owners. And then number two is, of course, the support of the developer to the project. I have seen that, I have experienced that. Even with my previous jobs, developers get involved even if their developments were 20, 30 years ago. You know? And I think that's very important to the unit owners, especially right now, just like what I said, the buyers now are very demanding in terms of quality, in terms of safety and security within the building or within the confines of their units.
Paulina, can
Okay,
I
so
add?
yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to what Sir Jun mentioned. No? For me naman, a good development has to have a good human-centered culture. Just like what Sir Jun mentioned, it's all about the people, the frontliner managing the property management. No? So I look forward to hopefully Ortigas, wherein the culture of the property management is all about the people living inside. It's very difficult to manage a property because you have to be financially sustainable. You have to set boundaries also for homeowners to protect them. Also but some people might not agree with it. So, but I believe that culture is very important in the development, just like any business, the culture.
Okay, so yeah, thank you so much, Sir June and Sir Carl, for that. So it's really the people inside the community. So to wrap up, I would like to ask you, Sir Carl, of if you have any advice that you can give to our buyers in terms of their investing in real estate.
If you're looking at to invest in property, don't go with the herd. Diba? Because property talaga is you buy it before the herd comes. You buy it while it's still happening. So if you hear of somebody making money already in another place, maybe that's already at its peak. So find a place that is growing, look at the criteria, look at the infrastructure, and that's how you make a good windfall in property when you ride it up.
Okay, so yes, with that, sir, unfortunately, I have a lot of questions with me, but that's all the time we have left, and that wraps up our webinar for today. So again, thank you so much to our speaker, Mr. June Vasquez and Mr. Carl B, for sharing your time, the knowledge, and expertise with us on this Saturday morning. And of course, to everyone who tuned in even on a weekend. Again, I'm Paulina Aguilar, and thank you so much, and I'll have an awesome day ahead.
Thank you, Paulina.
Thank you.